Simon. Well, welcome to Black History Conversations. Gosh, it's been a busy summer. I hope all people who get to listen to this are have had a good time. It's been exceptional here for the Learning Links International team. As we heard from TICE, the Welsh Government project that offers opportunities for folks in Wales to explore the world, and we're very fortunate because we are able to offer a number of people opportunities to go to Jamaica. So our project is called Building Bridges. Now, we're just getting going again with our Black History conversations, and I'm not quite as organised as I'd like to be, but I'm Liz Millman from Learning Links International. We've got with us Garrick Prayog, who's also a director of Learning Links International. Simon Faringo, who manages this recording, is also a director, and we're so grateful for him. We're running through now to our 150th session of Black History Conversations. And this is a pretty special session because we've just brought together a smallish group of people who are going to be involved in the Tithe project. We've also got with us June Elizabeth Whitesmith Gully, who is an activist and an advisor to the Learning Links International board and our projects. I'm just going to take this and see who it is. Right, okay, I'll carry on talking. No ID. Right, so just in case somebody else was trying to get through. Okay, then, right. So, and Gilbert Watkins, thank you very much indeed. Gilbert's an active member of the North Wales Jamaica Society and a Jamaican living in North Wales for some 40 odd years. And we've also got Michelle with us because Michelle's very fascinated to join us as we travel over to Jamaica, because Michelle has some history in her family, some heritage that links her with Jamaica. But most of all, welcoming who's joined us on many occasions on Black History Conversations, and Jackie has the surname of the Pennant family. Now, the Pennant family were big plantation owners way back in the day. Oh dear, I'm sorry. Hello? Hello.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, I think Liz, you're on mute, and June, I think you are, and Gareth and Gilbert.
Okay, right.
Okay.
Beck is getting back to us, so sorry, we're sometimes a little bit like this when we're getting going with things. So I'll hopefully we'll get a message off Beck, and I'll be able to get the Zoom link back to her. Okay, then. So right, I've got recorded there. Okay, that's fine.
So where's Michelle from? I've seen her before. Where's Michelle from?
Michelle, you're on mute now. Michelle?
I'm from Liverpool originally, and I lived there till I was 30, and then I came to Aberystwyth to do a degree in English quite late in life. And then I work in the museum now, but I've worked with children for about 20 years.
Right.
But
Okay.
my mother's grandfather was born in Montego Bay, but he was shipped over to Liverpool because he had Caucasian skin and blonde hair. So he was shipped out to Liverpool, and that's where the background comes in with Jamaica.
So this is going to be really interesting. You're on mute now, June Elizabeth.
I wondered where you live now. You live in...
Aberystwyth.
Okay, that was nice.
Well, welcome also to Derek, Charles Hange. I love you having the Charles bit in, Derek. Derek's a free man of Bangor here in North Wales and a very good friend. Derek was one of the first people to really take on board this project and support the work that I was doing with other people. So, Derek, it's great to see you, and I know you've had a bit of a rough time over the last few weeks, so it's good to see you looking okay today. If you don't want to have your picture on, though, at any stage, any of you can just cross out the little camera at the bottom and also cross out your audio if you need to, but people can chip in anytime. So without any more ado, we're delighted that you've managed to join us, Jackie, from Conwy, where you've been visiting the Honey Festival and meeting up with Carl and a friend and meeting up with Maggie Ogdenbanwo, who's also a director of Learning Links International.
Yeah.
So we're getting everywhere. Right, okay then. So what I'd like to suggest now, Jackie, is really turn this over to you, because you made the supreme effort of coming over to Wales again to meet up with us and to continue to explore your heritage and the heritage of the White Pennant family. And we visited Penrhyn Castle, and as I say, we've done other things this week. It's been a marvellous week. So is it okay if it's over to you then, Jackie?
Yeah, hi everybody. So I'm in Conwy today at the Honey Fair. And okay, so this has been really an awesome, you can hear me okay, right everyone?
Yeah, we're fine.
This has been an awesome trip for me because, as I said, it started with my curiosity and my need or my desire to get to know, what's going on with this castle, what's going on in this part of Wales. And then just by meeting up with Liz and being present at Black History Conversations and with the North Wales Jamaica Society meetings, being more of a hanger-on, because I don't have any knowledge. I just come to kind of learn myself. It's kind of morphed into what's going on today. And when I knew that there was an opportunity to come back over and meet up with everybody, it was perfect opportunity for me to come and get some more information. So yeah, my purpose for this, as I said, was more personal, but as I've gotten more involved, I see that there's so much more to what's going on in this area and with Pennants in Jamaica and with the family history. I'm surprised at how it's almost as if build it and they will come. You just start something and it just becomes so much more than what you thought it would be. Really surprised at how I've gotten to come back to the castle, been with the North Wales Jamaica Society, went to the Bangor archives, being able to actually see and feel documents that are original, that potentially have my family's names of my ancestors on them. That's a whole nother story. That is, I went back from the archives and I was just thinking about it. I said, those documents are original. And I don't think at the time I kind of thought about that, but thinking that these actual documents were written at the time that my ancestors were enslaved, that is that's a lot to take in. Also, the meticulousness of the record keeping, you know, how much of a business this was, and how, you know, I mean, I got to be grateful because of that, because it's written down and the history's here for us to see today. But you see how, what slavery was, you know, what it was, what it meant to the slave owners. Now, one area that I have struggled with is the fact that if these records do exist in such intricate detail, how is it that there's no recognition of the pain, the suffering, and at minimum, an apology? Because this is well documented information. So that is an area that I need to kind of unpack when I get home, you know, because, you know, when you're looking at what was done and when you're looking at the detail and how it's just all there in black and white, it is unfathomable to me that there shouldn't be some form of recognition as to the pain and the suffering, you know, on a national level and a moral level, a religious level, you know, on so many levels. So, but, you know, as far as my vision, what I see here is, you know, talking to local people, it's amazing how many people have a story about this family, about their experience with the strikes and the quarries and the, you know, the ill will, the ill blood with the people and the family. So there is a common, we have a common story, you know, the Jamaica side and the Welsh side, you know, the quarry workers and the slaves in Jamaica, the plantation workers. So there is a commonality there, and I think that is where we can come together and build bridges. And so there is room there for bridges of friendship and for us to do a lot of work together. So that's been my experience. I think out of all of this, and it's funny because while I was at the archives, I was fine with it. But after I went home and I thought about it, that's when it kind of, you know, I just thought about it. I said, wow, I mean, how do you have something so well documented, right? And just be told to get over it, you know. It's quite interesting. Yeah.
Yes, it was really amazing, wasn't it, when we were there, and Leslie Evans, who's not able to be with us this afternoon, she sent her apologies. Leslie has launched into researching and recognizing the names of all the people. And I don't know, Jackie, if she shared with you, but she's got over 1,000 names now of workers who were brought over from Africa, or that their mothers were working on the plantations owned by the Pennant family, and that they were yeah, it's just the words fail me, I'm afraid. It's really difficult. Anyway, Leslie's made all these records because with our group of people who are pretty special over in Pennant, we're hoping to be able to at least there recognise their ancestors. So we're hoping to develop a heritage centre there. And perhaps one of the links will be with the Heritage Centre that they're trying to develop in Bethesda. They've just written a Heritage Lottery bid to get the funding to work on that, and the recognition will also be there as well. But as you said, it's really on a national basis, and it's on a national level with apology. So, Jackie, I don't know if you want to share anything else just at the moment, or if we'll talk through some other aspects of this story. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Right, so just to update you, because things have happened this week, things have happened so quickly, I've hardly been able to catch my breath. So yesterday we had a very special Pennant's project meeting. Now, for those of you who don't know what the Pennant's project's about, I'm just going to share my screen and show you. So this is what the Pennant's project is about. Okay, so we meet up. Garrett, can you let anybody in, please? Because I can't do it when I'm sharing. Okay, so every Thursday since ever I can remember almost. Oh, it's Ivor's just joining us from the Pennant's Project, just on time, Ivor. So every Thursday at Wales, 9 o'clock in Jamaica, meet Zoom as the Jamaica Wales Alliance Advisory Group. So yesterday's meeting was no exception, but it was very special. We meet with the Pennant's Community Development Committee. Ivor's just joined us, and representatives of the Custis of Clarendon's team. So we had Douglas join us yesterday, and there was also input from the Maypenn's Mayor Office and Maypenn Rotary Club. So we had Walter Lavelle join us, Rotarian Walter Lavelle as well. So the patron is Dr. Lola Ramakan, who was is still the wife of the past Jamaican High Commissioner, His Excellency Seth George Ramakan, who is very supportive of our work. And the committee is chaired by Coy Roach, and I'm the secretary. So this is the Pennant's Project. So yesterday, we were on the Pennant's Project committee, and I'm just having a quick look here to see if I can see. I just put together. All right, that's another one I'll show you in a minute. Oops, a daisy. All right, get rid of that one. Oh, when your laptop goes all strange on you. Well, mine's just gone all strange on me, so that's interesting. Right, let's try and find where you all are again. Escape from that. Right, okay then. So ramble. So I can't see any of you at the moment because another laptop has PowerPoint has popped up. So I'll just show you this one. I don't think you can see it though, can you?
No, not at the moment.
Nothing yet, Liz.
Then I'll just save it. That's fine. But, right, okay, then I'm saving it somewhere where I'll find it again. So that's all right. So back history. Let's get to session. So we're in season 13 at the moment. So that's what I'm saving. Sorry about this. Yeah. Okay, right. So, all right, I'm just going to show you then the big a PowerPoint that I did for oh Richard Robert, you've managed to join us. That's wonderful. And also we've got Ivor with us now. I can see the whole screen. And we've got Beth. Welcome, Beth, for South Wales. Beth, I do apologise if you didn't get the joining details about the meeting before. Right, so I'm now going to talk about what happened on Monday, because this was exciting, and then we'll get back to the meeting that happened yesterday. So I showed this PowerPoint to the well, I would have liked to have shown this PowerPoint to the Bank Council. Unfortunately, my laptop, as you saw, it's playing up again. So we showed we just spoke about the project. But at the meeting of the Bangor City Council on Monday evening, they agreed to build a bridge of friendship with the Mayor and Council in Maypen. So we just wanted to introduce what we do, and just so that you know, we do have North Wales Jamaica Society meetings every the first Saturday in the month, and we always meet at 3 o'clock in Wales or 9 o'clock in Jamaica. Now sometimes the clock changes, we still stick with 9 o'clock in Jamaica, and we just adjust it to whatever time it is in the UK. Now here's a lovely picture of Jackie Pennant, because she walked with me down Manga Pier, so it was really nice photo to include there. Okay, so the next picture shows then His Excellency Seth George Ramakan, who's here, his wife, Dr. Lola Ramakan, who is now patron of the Pennant project. And also we gave special respect to Derek Hange, who's with us in this session. He's a free man of Bangor and has supported our efforts all over the years. And what was the purpose of us going to Bangor Council? They didn't look like this on Monday evening. They were all sitting around as a council meeting. This photograph was of a very special session, a civic reception held in August 2018 for the Jamaican High Commissioner and his wife. So we've got on the photograph other dignitaries, including the Lord Lieutenant here and the High Sheriff here. So, and of course, the then Mayor of Bangor, who at that stage was John Wynne Jones. So that was a wonderful occasion. And you can't see from this photograph, but the whole of Penryn Hall, which is the City Hall of Bangor, was absolutely crammed full of people. So this was our building bridges of friendship that we were putting forward to the council. We wanted to explain about we want to explain about and explore our shared history. And the shared history is between the city of Bangor in Gwynedd and the city of Maypen in Clarendon. So as you can see, this is a bilingual poster. Everything we produce in Wales is expected to be in Welsh as well as English. So there we are with our logos all across the bottom. The North Wales Jamaica Society, Bangor City Council, Tithe, which we'll talk about in a bit. It's the Welsh Government funding body that's supporting us, Learning Links International, the Parish Council of Clarendon and Rotary International. So a few years ago, some of you might not realise this, but I went to Jamaica. I had an opportunity to go there, and I met up with the Mayor of Maypen, Councillor Winston Mirage. I also, on the right-hand side, was presented by a guide to Clarendon by Rohan Blake, Clarendon's chief executive, and it was great to have that opportunity, and I met a number of people. And then I asked Mayor Winston Mirage, is there anything we could do to help? And he said, well, yes, we need another fire engine. So I came back to Wales and tried to find out about how we could get another fire engine to Clarendon, and I was told that the fire service didn't any longer send out fire engines to different places, because if they weren't good enough for us, why would other people want them? But then things changed during COVID, COVID being one of the main things, and now they have got a service where they collect up under fire aid fire engines to be shared with folks around the world who want them. So this is this summer. So 2024, Blue Watch at Bangor Fire Station are being supported by the North Wales Fire Service to get a decommissioned fire engine from Fire Aid via the Emergency Services charity. So Garrick and I went to meet with the firefighters way back in June, and we were able to explain what the need was, and we were able to get the pledge from Emergency Services charity to be able to support this. So there we are, standing in Bangor on the right hand side. There's Leslie in the red frock, and we've got with us Gilbert with your suit and tie on here. Gilbert looking very smart in your hat. Rudy Nelson, Carl here. Carl joined us this week as well in Bangor. We've got Garrick, we've got firefighters and others. And then there was a lovely day in Bangor when we got out Nancy from where he'd been hibernating in the cupboard, and he had some adventures and brought a lot of laughter and fun to the community day in Bangor. Right, so this was the rest of the PowerPoint I was showing to the, or hope to show to the council. We're going to send it to them anyway, so just make sure they know where Jamaica was, they knew where Clarendon was, and they knew where May Pen was. And if there are those of you in the session who are not quite sure where Pennant is, the little village of Pennant, it's about here, right sort of central in the highlands of Jamaica. And Jamaica and Wales are similar sizes, just over 3 million residents in each. Both countries attract many tourists, and tourism's key element of both economies. Takes about the same time, bit quicker to drive from North Wales to South Wales, if anybody's brave enough to try and do that, because we have to go around all our little wiggly roads. However, Jamaica west to east has some good highways now going along this way, and it takes about 5 hours, so approximately the same size, just tip sideways. Right, comparing Gwynedd and the parish of Clarendon. Here's Gwynedd up here, and here's a bigger version of Gwynedd. This is where Bangor is, and this is the big island of Anglesey. And there's a strait here called the Menai Strait that seawater goes through, and there are 2 bridges going over. So here we've got Clarendon, and I show here where May Pen is, fairly central. And up here, north of Chapelton, is the little community of Pennants. I've put the big red letters to show where it is. So the Clarendon population, however, is about twice as big as the Gwynedd population, despite the fact Gwynedd is quite a big area. And the May Pen population is 3 times more than the Bangor population. Bangor's not a huge city. Now, come on then. Who can guess which clock is which? Say this to yourself and then we'll see. Who thinks that the, well, I don't know, come on, call out. Who thinks that this smart looking clock here with the red roof on it, where do you think this one is? All together now? May Pen, okay.
I think the one with the shingle on to keep us away.
Okay, and this one here is in Bangor. So we've both got a town clock, so that's something we've got in common, so that's good, isn't it? Right, okay, then now we've got pictures here of the past mayors. I'm going to whiz past that because part of it's inaccurate. Explain to them about Learning Links International, but also to say, and I've got a spelling mistake here, Park in Welsh has got a C on it. And in June 2024, just now, we were notified of the success of 2 applications to the Welsh Government Tithe Fund to organise exchange visits between North Wales and Jamaica to enable us to explore our shared history and build bridges of friendship over the next 2 years. So this shows the huge and enormous Pennant Castle, which was built using the wealth generated on the plantations in Clarendon and one in Westmoreland, 6 plantations and pens in all, and that wealth certainly made a big difference to the way North Wales was. It wasn't just that a castle was built, but the family also invested into roads, I understand schools, churches, different entities to improve the lives of Welsh people in the area where they had lands. Didn't do anything to improve the lives of the people who were living back in Jamaica. So really, it's a sad, difficult story. Okay, then, so that's our thing. And one thing I'd just like to say, and I think I'll find a little Jamaican flag, and I'll put it here on the flagpole because that's our aim. We want to have a Jamaican flag on the top of that flagpole, flying over Pennant Castle. Okay, so 2007, Mayor Milton Brown told a North Wales, a BBC Wales documentary, that countries involved in the trade had a moral responsibility to help those affected. He called on Wales to compensate his country for the legacy of poverty he said had been left by the slave trade. That was 2007, the bicentenary of the abolition of the Slave Trade Act. Pennant Castle actually had a big exhibition then. Mayor Milton Brown spoke to a representative of the Pennant family. He also, Edmund Pennant spoke to a representative of the Pennant family, and the family pledged that they would help schools in Jamaica. It's quite a long time since 2007, and for the past years, we've been in communication with the Pennant family to see what they'd been doing and what they could do. They did provide a little funding for us to provide some new windows for the school at one stage, but I think this was about £1,000, and other funding for a wall that was built to secure the site of the primary school. That was a few years ago. That was 2000. Also, my good colleague, Yasa Safari, Jamaican dub poet, has travelled many, many times to Wales to undertake a range of activities. And really early on, that was in 2011, he met up with Richard Douglas Pennant, who's also a poet. Richard Douglas Pennant and his brother Edmund Douglas Pennant are the current custodians in the line of the Pennant family. And they presented Bridges of Friendship, a poetry event at Moylakey Environmental Centre. So that was pretty special, and again recorded by the BBC. So we kept the Douglas Pennant Family Foundation updated with the needs identified in the Pennant district, and they've provided the little funding, as I've explained. However, representatives of another branch of the Pennant family pledged £50,000, and they've already, and I'm going to change now, they've already started the process of sending the payment over, and it should be there by Monday. So yesterday's meeting, you remember I was saying to you that we've got the Pennant's project meeting. Well, yesterday in the Pennant's project meeting, it was great to have Johnny and Phillida join us. Johnny and Phillida Lloyd, their mother was called Pennant, and she's one of the landed family, the Douglas Pennant family, or the Pennant family. And they decided to apologise, which happened a few weeks ago when Johnny joined the meeting. Now Phillida joined as well, and they're looking forward to coming with us to join you in Jamaica in November. So that'll be good. Right. So it's good that we've got Barrington Richardson joining us now, so we'll have a talk about that in a minute. And we also told the council that there was a new custos in the parish of Clarendon, Edith Chin, William Shagori, who's just been granted the Order of Jamaica, very prestigious, was the previous custos. And here's our Lord Lieutenant of Gwynedd, so he's the next person who we're going to work on building a bridge of friendship between the two. Now, what are the benefits of Bangor City Council supporting this project? Well, to create international friendships, support the North Wales Anti-Racist National Action Plan, to contribute to a better, honest understanding of our shared history. I think that's what we're about, really. And as Jackie said, no recognition, no apology. It's not good enough. And to support Black history in our schools. So that was the PowerPoint that will go out to the council members when we're thanking them for agreeing to participate in the project. It's been a long time that we've been negotiating with them, but we're really pleased now. It's really lovely to see others have joined us. Welcome, Sibani, welcome Barrington Richardson, and welcome Beth. And Robert, I said to you before. Okay then, so, all right. Thank you, Sibani. I saw your message in the chat. So here in North Wales, over the past years, we've been working together, sometimes easily, sometimes with difficulty, to recognise our shared history. Now, Dr. Sibani Roy has joined us, and since 2011, when we first started doing things for Black History Month here in North Wales, you've been a stalwart support, Dr. Sibani Roy, and I thank you very much indeed for that. We're now planning how we can manage to do more things this October for Black History Month. This is the North Wales Jamaica Society, sort of comes out of hibernation, or not that it's been in hibernation this year, but has come out of hibernation each year in order to let me just sort that out, right, in order to celebrate Black History Month. So we've got a plan, Sibani. We'll have a talk to you, see if you've got any ideas to join in as well. So yeah, we got the council on board, and last night at the special meeting of I'm just looking to see if I can see at the special meeting of the Pennant's project, we were able to hear about the funding being transferred. So I'm just going to share that with you now, and you can see here we've got here we were. June Elizabeth was with us. Here's Coy Roach. He's the chair of the society. We've got Ivor here, back at home in Pennant after his holiday, me up there. And here we've got Eureka Douglas, who is the manager of the Clarendon Parish Development Committee Benevolent Society. She works out of the Custos's office, and she's going to manage the funding. We had Walter Lavelle from the Rotary in Maypen, and here we've got Phillida Lloyd, and it was wonderful to have her join us because she and Johnny, as brother and sister, have made this opportunity, and there she is. So it was pretty amazing. It's the first time we've met Phillida, so that was really good. And in this screenshot that I took earlier in the session, Johnny joined us. Johnny had then had to go on to a committee meeting. So here we've got you, Jackie, joining us from the ferry on the way back from Dublin. It's been a roller coaster of a week. So it was really, really nice to have Johnny and Phillida. And it was really nice because in the meeting, Phillida said with confidence, "Okay, Eureka, just send me the bank details and I'll send the money over." So Barrington Richardson, it's great to see you. Barrington's the Director of Education in Clarendon. Barrington's possibly in a meeting at the moment, having a sneak link in with us here. Are you there, Barrington?
Yes, indeed, Liz. Great greetings to everyone. Happy to be on. I am straddling 2 meetings, trying to make sure I keep in touch with what's happening. But I'm here and I'm available if needed.
Right, well, that's wonderful. And Barrington's just sent me an email. So I don't usually show people's emails, Barrington, but it was such a good email, I'm going to share it. So I told Barrington that we'd got the funding. And he says, excellent, clap, clap, clap. So I know Mr. Williams and his team are excited about this progress and looking forward to the needed repairs. This is Mr. Ainsworth Williams, who is principal of the Pennant's primary school, which was quite badly affected during the hurricane and the rains that challenged the island earlier on in the summer. So he has good management skills and will see to the effective repairs of the roof and other critical infrastructure repairs. The building officer from the Ministry of Education will also provide technical support to ensure the work is done to establish standards. And I think, Barrington, that the plan is that it's also going to, the repairs to the roof will also include modifications for water catchment, so that the large amounts of rain that you get there will be saved and will be made available, say, for flushing toilets or whatever else it might be needed, because one of the big issues in the community of Pennant is that they haven't got running water, tap water. I know rain water is different to tap water, but that's a good first step. Likewise, Pennant's basic.
Yes, Liz. Yes, you are correct. So the water harvesting program will be done through this funding as well.
So that's a good step forward. Thank you. And likewise, Pennant's Basics also happy for the support and will definitely benefit from this, and will make the students and staff more comfortable in the space, and will get rid of the horrible pit toilets that they have to use at the moment. So that's good news again, hopefully, that will be sorted. Oh, and then thanks for this, Barrington. Thanks to you, Liz, and your team, the team, for sticking to the task and making this a reality. I know it's been a very long journey. Thank you so much. Well, Barrington, this morning I've been on the phone to the travel agents. Thank you so much for that letter. And the travel agents have told me that they can book your ticket as soon as you've got your visa sorted. So get your visa sorted, let me know, and then we'll book the ticket for you. So we're just debating about where you're flying into, because the decision will be, and we're delighted, Barrington Richardson is going to join us for the first of the Tithe exchange visits. So as Director of Education of Clarendon, we'll be letting our Director of Education here, Gwern, let him know what's going on, and get the schools involved and organise a really good programme of activities for you in the middle of October. So we've really got to get our skates on with this one. So I'm not quite sure whether it's better for you to fly from Kingston to Gatwick, which is then a very long way to North Wales, to Manchester, and then on to North Wales. I know you want to have a few days with family. And then we're going, or whether it's better for you to endure a bus trip on the Knutsford Express up to Montego Bay, or however you get there, and actually fly out of Montego Bay directly into Manchester. So we can discuss that again if that's all right. Okay, Barrington?
Sure, Liz. Sure.
Just
We're flexible. The preference would have been Kingston, but Montego Bay is quite fine.
But you do understand, Barrington, that if you come into Gatwick, you then have to catch a train into London, and then you have to catch a train all the way to Manchester, which is a long train journey. But it might be okay. It might work. We'll see. I don't mind whichever way you want to play it. So, Barrington, do you want to tell us a little bit about what your plans are? I know you sent me another email. I'm not quite sure if I can find it, but you listed the activities that you were interested in.
Yes, thanks for the opportunity, Liz, to share. So the three-sprung approach that I'm considering, one, to look at learning pathways, how we organize learning in Jamaica to treat with students at varying learning levels. Some would say special needs, but just basically the students on a different levels of learning. I want to share that approach with them and also to hear how they do it as well. So I can take back some best practices in that area. Because when you look at the global data for student performance and student outcome, and you begin to match it against male and female, we realize that the data set is very common across the borders. And so what obtained in one territory could be applicable as well to another. So I want to share what we are doing to organize learning on the three pathways of engagement. The other area.
Barrington, I think you can see now, if you can see your screen.
Oh, yes, I'm seeing, yes.
Shared.
Right. So that would be the first one. The second one has to do with behavior modification. We have what we call a school-wide positive behavior intervention and support. This is where we train critical persons in the school community just to help to change culture and ethos and to use a reward system, not just for students, but for all adults in the space. Would want to share some of the successes that we have had. I have some videos, I have some murals, pictures from different schools and testimonials that I will be taking to share with persons there, and also to hear as well what they have been doing in this regard to manage behavior and to get schools to change culture to one of order and discipline so that we can allow our students to become the best version of themselves. And then they would want to do some cultural showcase or exchange where I'll take some artifacts, some key areas of our culture and how we use that to enrich learning within schools, to ensure that our students that are growing up, they can embrace their Jamaican-ness, their Samadhi-ness, as we would call it, and to twin that with education within the schools. And also to hear how Wales, they are doing that as well, as to how we can ensure we don't lose our culture
I don't know if you know, Barrington.
in modern time. So those are the key areas.
Wonderful. So we're going to have the meeting with the hosts. That'll be a real treat on Monday. Now what date is it? Let me get the right date. which Monday will it be? You fly in on, yeah, so it'll be Monday the 14th of October. So it'll be fantastic. Then we'll arrange meetings with people. I'm starting the arrangements with the schools already. There'll also be the tours of the historical and tourist sites. And I don't know if you know, Barrington, we do Eisteddfod as well in Wales. In fact, that's where it started. So I think you know that. Anyway, we're looking forward on one of the afternoons. Now, wait a minute, let's get this right. One of the mornings, at 9 o'clock, if you can have a group of students or whatever you want set up at Denby High School, perhaps. We're going to have a group of students set up at Denby High School in Wales, and we're going to introduce the two of them. That will be about 2:30, 3 o'clock. So just for a half-hour session. So 8:30, 9 o'clock in Jamaica, 2:30, 3 o'clock here, and we'll have the two Denby High Schools linked on Zoom, which will be a really interesting thing. I haven't got it organised yet, but you do your bit on your side and find out what day will be best. That will be wonderful then, and all those other things will organise opportunities for the teachers to meet with you, and also for you to be able to share. It'll be a really, really valuable opportunity for our educationalists to hear more about Jamaica as part of our big programme, which is about
Wonderful, Liz.
exploring the shared history. Thanks, Barrington. So that's good. So we're really looking forward to seeing you now. It's all becoming very real, especially after the Zoom meeting that Garrick and I were in today. Garrick, do you want to explain what the Tithe meeting was about?
Yes. So as you would expect from the Welsh government, they wanted to make sure that the project is in line and following all the procedure. So we've been working on policies over the last couple of weeks. We've got more policies than the Welsh government because that's the requirement. So we did more than what is required. So today's meeting was really focusing on the adult learners. We'll be meeting for the youth next week, and just going through what we need to do in terms of fulfilling the project outline. And of course, we have to stick closely to what was written in the project. And if there's any changes, there's a process that we have to follow, and we have to give 60 days notice for changes. So we're going through all of this stuff today. It was in fact, Liz and I said we're happy that it was just the adult only, because we couldn't cope with both sessions for the day. It is a lot of information, but I can understand the reason and the purpose of this. And we had the opportunity of asking questions for clarification, because there was a couple of issues that we wanted to just check through. One, for example, the allocation of funds is fixed. So, we're finding it really difficult to find, fares with the allocation that has been allocated for the funds. So we raised those issues. There's also monitoring reports that have to be completed before other funds are released. So we talk about, how we can manage that. So, it was very useful. And we have access to the Tithe support team through email and through telephone, and they do have stakeholders meeting for all the projects. So we've been invited to a stakeholders meeting where again we can meet other funded project. That would be interesting. So yes, we're on target. And one of the things that came out of the conversation was the whole idea of the benefit of building bridges of friendship, the benefit to the community of Wales, and the benefit to those in the exchange in Jamaica. And it does fit in the wider learning environment in terms of the other work we're doing around Black History Month, and our regular Black History conversation. So both informal learning, we found that that's an excellent way of getting these messages, and also changing the culture that exists. And I guess at the end of this program, we have to do a final report to Tide, and that report will actually bring everything together as to how the project had gone. There will be some key stories there, and I guess case study would be available, but also we are able to take the Tide message out to other places. So schools and other pathways can make application, and we will be promoting that program in our network, so that other people can benefit from the funding.
Thanks very much indeed, Garrick, and thank you, big personal thank you to you, because Garrick has stepped in now to manage. We have 2 projects funded by Tithe for exchange visits to Jamaica, one for youths and one for adults. We've been talking about the adult project so far, but we had to have someone step in to take over the youth project, and Garrick very kindly stepped in to do that. So Garrick is not only the second in command of the adults, but he's first in command of the youth project, and I'm second in command. And a wonderful gentleman called Brendan Burmister has joined us to be the finance director. So you'll all be really relieved to know that we'll be managing the £100,000 appropriately that we've been granted for the 2 projects. I'm not going to talk about the youth project now, but just to say that we're looking at possibly links with the with agriculture, as well as linking with families. So that will be an interesting one. So we need to unpick that. And Siban is writing me little messages in the
Yeah, thank you very much, Sibani. Yes. It's a team effort.
Siban's a good hard worker too, but it really has been incredible. Anyway, very many thanks to those people who've helped us get this far. We're having to really build up the capacity of Learning Links International, as Garrick just said. We must be the most policy-rich organisation you can think of now. And Barrington, we need to talk to you as well, because we need to do some double checking, because there are requirements that the organisations we work with in Jamaica have also got the appropriate policies. Now, I know as the Director of Education that you've got every policy that you could possibly need, but we might need to confer with you on that.
Okay, sure, Liz. I am available for the conversation.
Okay, thank you. Yes, so the good news is that by next week we'll have some of the funds into our account. We had to have a quite I felt I was quite tough about this, Garrick, in the meeting this morning, but they announced that let me just check. That when the project's over, that is, we've paid for everybody's flight, subsistence, hotel accommodation, you name it, that they will let us have. No, I've not got the right notes here. That they would pay us the last 20%, I think it was, that was the figure mentioned, after we've paid for it. And I pointed out that Learning Links International was in no way had the capacity to be able to pay for all those outgoings. So they're now going to make arrangements so that we'll get the money sooner rather than later. But
you're very lucky, Liz. Normally, we all have to wait and bear the cost of the last, whatever it is, 20%.
Well, I'm glad you say this, Richard, Robert, because I know that with Nuren, who's one of our good partners here in North Wales, we've got the North Wales Jamaica Society and Learning Links International, both based in Bangor. We've got Sibani Roy's Nwami group, and we've got your group, the North Wales Regional Equalities Network, Nuren. Thank you, Robert, for making that comment, because they have to understand that we are a social enterprise, and if we've got any funds at all, we make sure they're spent, all of it, which means we've not got a lot of money in the account at the moment. So heaven bless the wonderful Johnny and Phillida Lloyd, because they have actually, out of the £50,000 that they're contribution to developments in Jamaica, they've given £5,000 to Learning Links International so that we can deal with things that come up that are more like an immediate need, like we paid for lunches for the Rotary training that they were doing with young people a few weeks ago, earlier in the holiday. But it's totally unrealistic, isn't it, Robert, to be expected to be able to cope with all the expenses. And because these expenses are so specific, we can only spend the funding on flights, accommodation, and subsistence. So we have got some funds for organisational support within the thing, but most of that will be used up because they only give us £700 for flights to Jamaica, and the cheapest I can find at the moment is 780, if not 800 and something. So and why we're in a category where they think that accommodation and subsistence will be relatively inexpensive. We're talking about Jamaica here. We're not talking about being able to maybe stay in a youth hostel in Spain. We're talking about staying in a hotel in Kingston with a high level of security, because we feel that's needed for the delegations that we're supporting to go out there. So it's going to be a bit of a hop, skip and a jump. Anyway.
And we did make that point. And in fact, Robert, it was 30%, but we pushed them for 20 because it was 30%. And we said, you know, we just haven't got the resources to cash flow. And so they sort of agreed that. But, you know, we're hoping that they would, you know, change their policy and procedure as they get the reports coming back from the project. So maybe next year project might be different. I don't know.
Don't count on it. They're very, very inflexible and very bureaucratic.
Yeah.
Yes, I can understand that. We've seen that.
Now, I know some of you are hoping to come along on these exciting delegation visits we're organising to go to Jamaica. We're calling them delegations because that sounds real posh, doesn't it? You know, we're not just going over there for a holiday, folks, despite the fact Garrett keeps putting up his beach and palm tree. We're going over there and it'll be a busy, busy time. So I think, Garrick, I'm going to suggest that we have a meeting we were talking about a meeting next Thursday night, and we'll be talking with people who are interested in coming along on the visits. I know that's difficult for you, Gilbert and Michelle, because you're further away, and I know that Beth is also down in South Wales, so we'll have a Zoom link going on at the same time. But it's important that we do get folks together and we start to talk about the practicalities. The practicalities are that we're planning after Barrington's visit to us, we're planning to have a visit at the beginning of November for the first delegation. Now, Garrick and I are going to go a few days earlier because we need to do a preparatory visit and we're funded to do that. But for any visit we do, we're only funded to cover a certain number of days. So we'll cover our days for the preparatory visit. But then, like anybody else, like Barrington, when he comes over here, if you want a few more days in Jamaica, or like Barrington wanted a few more days in the UK, then that's fine. You just have to fund that yourself. Now, if you don't live in Wales, or you haven't got any way that we can show that you've got particularly strong links with Wales, then you have to pay your own way altogether. But for many people, that's a really attractive opportunity because it isn't every time you get an opportunity to go to Jamaica as part of a delegation. And as part of a delegation, you meet the people who are the movers and shakers in Jamaica. We'll be meeting with the director of the museums, for example. We'll be meeting with the British High Commission. We'll be going on visits around Kingston to the different places. And we'll be spending a good bit of time with Ivor out in Pennant, Kellits, Denbigh and all the other places where the Pennants had their plantations. We'll be going to the University of the West Indies. We'll be running a nice Steddfod. And if you think you're going to be tired when you get back home, you're going to, because we are going to use every single day that you're there as part of the delegation to do things morning, noon, and night. Okay? It's not a picnic. Okay. So I think it sounds exciting. So now we're going to get the money into the account. We can seriously take the steps forward. And perhaps the last thing I'd like to talk about, and Jackie and June Elizabeth. June Elizabeth, would you like to tell us about meeting the guy in the Bwydda restaurant?
I thought that was magical. I don't know how that happened. All I know that we went to this restaurant, can't remember the name, in Bangor, just a few hours before I left to come back to England. And that was Tuesday afternoon. And when the waiter came to serve us, Liz asked him if he was the manager. And he said, his name was Matthew. And he said, no. And Liz started to kind of say she'd like to speak to the manager. But then as she kind of progressed and explained why she wanted to speak to the manager became available. When the manager came, he kind of, well, he worked in Antigua for a couple of years. He was the master chef. His work was Gordon Ramsay. He's worked at some well-known hotels in London. And apparently he has got a record of doing Windrush events in Bangor. The only backfall or downfall, he said, they don't do alcohol. Well, that was not something that we were worried about. And then he said he would offer the space of his restaurant, which there's a little stage as well, if it can be of any help. And he also said he'd be more than interested in joining building the bridge project. I'll stop there.
Indeed, June Elizabeth. So Jason, his name is, the reason I spoke to him is that this is a restaurant that has been set up to support people who might be finding it difficult to find the funds for a coffee or a meal, people who might be homeless, people who face challenges. It's called, I'm not good at Welsh, I'm afraid. It's called Bwyddar Bangor. Is that about right? No other offers, right?
Good, good food Bangor, it's called.
Thank you, Derek. Say it again.
Good food Bangor. Good Bangor.
Bwyddar Bangor. And
It sets up for those who can't afford to pay, don't they?
yeah. So it's a really special organization. Anyway, nothing ventured, nothing gained. We arranged to meet him yesterday with Brendan, and we had a very good meeting for quite some time at 4:30. The restaurant was closed, but he's offered us opportunities to meet there again. So I'm suggesting, Garrick, that we meet there next Thursday because the Penryn Hall is being had some work done on it at the moment, and that's when we'll let you all know, and we'll make the Zoom link work to talk some more about the possibilities and who might go on the visit. So one of the criteria of the tithe funding is that you have to have 25% of the people who go have to either be from ethnic minority groups or have some sort of disadvantage or learning difficulty or special needs or what have you. And for those people, we are able to apply for more funding to buy suitcases and appropriate clothing if necessary, to pay for visas if necessary. We don't have to pay for that, I don't think, but maybe getting passports, things like that. So that in the application that I wrote that we would be contacting local groups who support people with challenges and difficulties and involve them. So this was a first step, and it worked brilliantly, didn't it? Because June Elizabeth and Jackie were there, and they were amazed by the progress we made so quickly, and I was amazed too. So anyway, so that's going to be really good. So the idea that we've got is that maybe a member of staff from the organisation and maybe one or two of the people they help, that they involve and engage in our adult learning course. We've got a course called Exploring the Shared Stories of North Wales and Jamaica. So it has to be, there have to be individuals who are interested in participating, not anybody who just wants a free holiday. So we'll be working on that. So a really positive meeting last night, Garrick. I haven't had a chance to tell you about it yet. It was really good. And then, Jackie, I don't know if you're able to talk at the moment. We went along, I realised I was about to get pinched for parking yet again. So I shot out and directed June Elizabeth and Jackie to Storiel, which is our local museum in Bangor. And as I caught up with them and walked into Storiel, there was a film crew there. And I was busy trying to read the pull-ups and work out what it was about, and asked if I could speak to someone there. So I spoke to someone there, and they're a film company from Wrexham, and they've been doing work with people who are recovering from alcohol dependence, and they're people who have been doing a photography course and a film course with them. So they're also very interested. So in one day, we made two very, very interesting contacts. So Jackie, I think when we meet up tonight and we're having something to eat somewhere, then perhaps we can write up the requirements of that second company and see if we can send that along to them, and just get people involved, because this is a an interesting, it's just so much potential in this project. To be quite honest, Garrick, I think that the people from Tithe were a bit amazed by what we had to share this morning, because usually they've got like a school or 3 students from a university linking with another place. And here they've got this huge complex project that's been going on for years, and they are going to facilitate us to have these wonderful exchange opportunities.
Yeah.
And Ivor and colleagues from Pennant, just a small group, are going to have an opportunity to come over to Wales next summer. So I've heard that the summer of 2022, the weather's going to be gorgeous in Wales, and we will make sure that we invite them at a time when it isn't raining, blowing a gale, or otherwise.
2025.
Would love that. Yeah, 2025.
Yes.
Okay, we'll organise the weather for you to be really.
Okay.
We'll organise 7 days of lovely activities. And do you know what? When you come to Wales, it's okay to go to the beach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Out to holiday in Jamaica, of course. Not that we're going to miss out on going to Port Royal or Hellshire Beach in and Bammy. But when you come to us, we're going to give you the best time we possibly can, and we'll have so much fun.
Looking
So,
forward to that. Looking forward to it.
and I can see June Elizabeth will be booked up somewhere in Bangor coming over to join us as well. So we'll invite you, Sibani, we'll invite you, Robert, from your organisations. Of course, you'll be coming down from Corwin, Gilbert, because you'll have been over in Jamaica on the. I'm not sure if you're coming on our first visit in November. Is that when you're planning, Gilbert? Gilbert, I can't hear you. Gilbert, I can't hear you.
He's on mute, Liz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I still can't hear you, Gilbert.
Yeah, let me see if I can unmute.
Lovely. Thank you. When are you thinking of going over to Jamaica? Which trip, in this year or next year?
Well, to my knowledge, after when I was at the castle, I thought I was going with the first delegation.
Good, lovely.
Yeah.
So so all I'm waiting for some dates so I can make some preparation.
Good.
As I said before, I got some connection in Kingston, some ex-army friend who's with the West Indian, some veteran association as well, who offer us some form of, sort of hospitality, but depending on our program.
Yeah.
So I'm just I'm waiting your decision or your confirmation and dates.
Yeah.
I can understand, Gilbert, why we've been somewhat reticent to actually go public with the dates.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't got the money yet, and somehow now I feel confident. We went through this special meeting today. We had their finance people and somebody else and somebody else and somebody else all on the screen interrogating Garrick and I about our project and telling us which 59 schedules we have to follow. Quite that many, but now I have to say, the reason I was late starting this session was that after the meeting I fell asleep. I'm just absolutely exhausted. My alarm clock went off and I got a message from Simon to say, "Where are you?" No,
Wake up.
Forgiven.
Okay, so
So who's going to be my point of contact, yourself or Garrick?
Yeah, I will. I'll come back to you with dates, and then we will communicate.
Okay.
Over the next couple of days, because we now have a good idea of the first delegation date, so we can share that with you and see if that fit within your timeline.
Okay. We'll touch base on the youth project because I was in the same line of work as yourself, Garrick, for about 25 years.
Yeah.
Serving as a manager in health and social care, basically working in crisis intervention center with difficult youngster, although the exchange, I suppose, I was listening to what the person from Jamaica was saying about the youngster on
Oh
the
yes, yes,
yeah,
Barrington Richards. Yeah,
that's right. So
Mm.
that was, I know you hear more of me, Liz, as a veteran, as a ex-soldier, but that was my main line of work. So health and working with children and young people in health and social care at the deep end in a
Yes.
crisis center. That's where
Crisis. Yes. Yes.
Well, I think if we're fairly clear, I'm the lead person that'll formally be the person to link with for the adult project. Garrick is the support. So together we're doing the adult project. For the youth project, Garrick is the lead and I am the support. So we alternate around, but basically you can communicate with either of us.
Yeah.
We all have to be a bit careful. We all have to be a bit careful these days because none of us are getting any younger. Some of you are a lot younger, but some of us aren't. So we've made a policy decision that at least two of us and also our younger colleague, Brendan, know
Yeah.
what's going on, because otherwise you can get these horrendous situations where somebody's out of action and you can't get into the computer links or what have you. So we're really looking at a bit of a belt and braces. Now, Gilbert, that will be really great. So can you carry on looking at the service links then in for the adult project? We'll talk about the adult project first, the service links, because it would be really great to be able to perhaps even visit the retired soldiers or forces personnel home, which I think is in Mandeville, isn't it?
Yes, wonderful. Yes.
Yeah. So we'll look at all kinds of options and possibilities because as adults, like we're all supposed to be grown up. And if people want to go off and follow their own interest for a day, as long as we know where people are going and we've checked they're safe and they fit into all our policies of security and everything else. But other folks might not have those links. So we're quite happy to sort of flex around, really. So, Michelle, I'm going to talk to you next. I know you're keen to go to Jamaica, and I'm keen to work with you because you're from a museum in Wales that we want to make a link because the director of the museums in Jamaica is Dr. Jonathan Greenland, and he's from Pennant. So he's got a good link with Wales. So when are you thinking, Michelle? Would that date in first week of November suit, or would you prefer to not?
Whatever you've got on offer, but I also have links with I worked in a school for 20 years and also worked for youth offending team here in Aberystwyth. So I'd also like to have a separate conversation with Gareth about that sort of thing as well. But yes, I can fit in with that time.
Now, this is an exceptional meeting. This is Black History Conversations, and we want people to know what we're doing. Learning Links International manages Black History Conversations. We've had so many interesting speakers over the years. Sibani's joined us, Robert's joined us, others have joined us. But this special session, we only invited people to join us who are involved in this and likely to be involved in the project or interested in the project, wanted to know what's going on. So that really we brought people up to speed quickly because we have got so much to do over the next few weeks and months. So Michelle, I shall be getting back to you on that. We're actually going to leave the youth project a little bit on the back burner because we can't honestly manage working on them both together. But what you said and what Gilbert said and yourself, Garrick, we're not sure exactly the cohort of young people. We want to take some people involved in agriculture,
Yeah.
but maybe other opportunities because the idea of somebody identifying a young person who might really benefit from this, who is disadvantaged or whatever, as long as they're over 18, we've actually stipulated we're not going to work with anybody under 18. And you know, who knows what we could do. We haven't got many visits there, and we haven't got many visits back for the youth project. And we know exactly who's coming back from Jamaica. We've made a commitment to a small group in Pennant who are going to come over under the youth project. So we don't want to mess that about. But then the places for people to go to Jamaica, and we can work on that maybe with agricultural colleges or maybe others that you might know of. But once you're 18, you're actually eligible to come on the adult as well. So it may be that we have some 18-year-olds coming on the adult project as well as the youth project. So we've to make sure.
And just for the benefit of the youth age group, under 25 is the definition that we've adopted. So 18 to 25.
And I'd be happy to come in November, but I'd really like to have some discussions around the youth group as well. Just if
that's fine, absolutely,
and get involved in that way.
Wonderful. I'm just going to chat to Beth. Beth's in Wales joined us. Thank you, Beth, for realising I'd forgotten to send you the link. Are you there, Beth? This is Beth's special doll you can see here. Doesn't sound like she's there. Now, Derek, is there anything else you wanted to say at this stage? We're so glad you joined us because really you've been there in the background, the Rotarian. Derek is the president of the Bangor Rotary Club, and you've been there for us all the way through, really. So thank you so much, Derek.
Yeah, I would possibly like to go further on, not this year, beginning next year. Because I'm also the chairman of the governors in our local school, I'd like to arrange something from the school that I can take over to the school over in Jamaica as well.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll catch up again, Derek, and we'll be able to plan that. And I would very much like Dr. Barrington Richardson to visit the school that you're chair of the governors of.
I'd be delighted to welcome him there, yes.
That would be wonderful. And then maybe we can see if the school can apply for its own tithe funding to get teachers and maybe even parents, governors over next year. We heard that there are two more rounds of funding.
So pathway 2, October, be opening in October.
So I'm in touch with Llanllechid, Kaitop and Vaynol School as well. So we'll see if we can get a bit of a consortium application together, Derek, because it's too good opportunity to miss. Okay, thank you. So Robert, I don't know if there's anything you want to add except caution of working with Welsh Government funding.
Yeah, I mean, be careful.
Yeah.
Are you, Robert, or not? Okay, well, we'll see how things go. Right, well, what news back in Pennant then, Ivor, and then we'll let the last word for Jackie if she's just with us still. Ivor, how is it in Pennant?
Yeah, Pennant now is sunny. But no, I think it's quite normal right now in Pennant.
Jolly good.
Yeah.
I can hear Icint in the background, yes?
Yes, he say something.
They're on our road cleaning the sides.
Oh, right.
Good. Up by the Baptist church, they're cleaning the drain.
Right, good.
Very good.
Excellent. Now, Ivor.
Just remind the ladies to send the itinerary.
Ivor, we will when we get that far. Just give me a few minutes
Okay.
before I can get that done. but it's all really beginning to come together now, very quickly. So we're
Yes.
just trying our best. But Ivor, I'd like you, please, to list up what instruments are going to be the best to buy out of the funding, because once the funding lands, then you can tell Eureka exactly what it is you want and your instruments to enable your band sessions to involve more people and get practicing ready for a nice Steddfod in October. We're well, November, we'll have an Steddfod event, which will be great fun, I'm sure, in Pennant, and we'll have it on Zoom, so you
All
know.
right.
Okay, so that's the instruments, and then the more complex one.
I'm sorry. I have to go now.
Police.
Sorry.
Okay, Derek. Okay, you gotta go. Yeah.
Thanks, Eric, so much for joining us.
Take
Thank
care.
Okay.
See you soon. Yeah.
And then the Ivor, the other thing, which is kind of more complex, it's going to need you working with the councillors and others, is that you're going to need to work out what to do about the heritage element, because we need to use some of the funds to repair up the tomb of Robert Rumble, to get that thing put round, to get the signing
Yes.
on. So if there's and what's really hard, folks, and I'm telling the rest of you, some of you don't know this, but one of the Pennants, a very good friend, Clifford, who from day one of me going to Pennants, all those years, he and his wife stayed in touch. And sadly, we lost Clifford a few weeks ago. Have you met his wife yet, Ivor?
Who that time?
Ivor, have you met Clifford's wife yet?
No, nothing have returned, no, but I've been in touch with her.
Okay, all right. Well, please pass my good wishes on.
Will.
Very sad we were. So Ivor and Clifford were the lead on getting all this heritage stuff sorted. So I'm sure that Eureka will help you from the Office of the Custos, though. Right, so last word goes to you, Jackie.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, so what I'd like to say is, for me, I'm going to echo what Barrington Richardson said and say thank you all for sticking to the task, because I've been, kind of feeling my way, just showing up, and been dragged along this amazing journey with you all. And it's not ending for me, because what's going to happen is you're also helping me to connect with Jamaica, with Clarendon, with, so the story is going full circle for people like me. So it's just one of those things where, you just start something and you just show up and you just keep doing. So thank you, Liz. Thank you, Garrick. Thank you, everyone who has, the Pennant Project. Thank you all, because this is the story. It's not over. The story is not over. There are a lot of us Pennants who were born in England and lost our connection with Jamaica. So this is still an ongoing story. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much indeed. And I'm just going to see if I can find a special PowerPoint that will enable us to finish this this session appropriately. So I've got the PowerPoint now. Jackie helped us to write this PowerPoint.
Sorry, I think I lost you. Did you?
Right, so thank you very much, Jackie. That's just brilliant. So Black History Conversations acknowledges the injustice of the actions taken by the British and other European countries that invaded and took possession of the islands in the Caribbean Sea, as well as the continents of North and South America. In addition, we also recognize the exploitation of the great continents of Africa, Australia, and many other parts of the world, the centuries of colonialization and ongoing exploitation. Knowledge that this resulted in the destruction and destabilization of so many nations, people, and cultures. So that's the Black History Conversations acknowledgement, and I think that's an appropriate place for us to rest. Thank Jackie very much indeed. She contributed to writing that for us, and I'll tell her that's how the session ended. I think, oh, there you are, Jackie, you're back again. Okay, so excellent. All right, thanks very much then. Anybody else say anything else? I'm going to switch off the recording and you can carry on chatting. Right, so the
I was just saying, Lee, hello.
on a minute, let me switch off the recording. Can you manage to do it, Garrick?
I'll have a go now. 1 second. 1 second. Let me go. Recording. Okay. Recording to the cloud.
To the cloud, does it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, it still says it's recording on mine.
Is it? Oh, doesn't give me to stop it.
Me, June Elizabeth, I see that. Unfortunately, on one of my systems, I've got your name. I think it's in your email address. It's spelt without an E.
No, yeah, that's not my mistake.
Mistake. Going back.
I couldn't do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't bear my name spelled incorrectly.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not allowing me to stop it.
Can I just ask you, are you able to remind us of the dates you're going and coming back?
No, not at the moment.
We haven't agreed if
you
the
haven't got a
final
date?
date is yet. No. We'll
Haven't
get
got a
those.
date?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay then.
To be finalized. Yeah. To be agreed. Yeah.
Lovely. Well,
I can't see how to switch the recording off.
Oh, I've got it now. Yes. Let me see.
I've got it as well. Shall I do it or you?
Yeah. You do it. Say recording stop.
That's it. The recording is now up in the cloud. Lovely.
Yeah.
Stop.
Okay.
Stop recording. Right. Okay. Anything else then? So, June Elizabeth, we've got that rough idea that we're going about the Tuesday in the last week of October as the preliminary visit, and then our colleagues will be joining us the first week in November, which is the flight that. So, if you're listening, anybody who's interested in joining this, which I can say to anybody here, that we'll be flying. Anybody who's online at the moment, will be you'll be flying on Saturday, the 2nd of November. You'll probably be staying overnight in a hotel in Birmingham, and we negotiated getting that paid for you today in the meeting. And then you'll fly into Montego Bay, stay overnight on Saturday the 2nd in Montego Bay. Sunday the 3rd by coach down to Kingston. We think that the hotel that's our preference in Kingston is the Rock Hotel, ROK, as advised by Dr. Kurt Henry, who's our partner at the Jamaica Memory Bank. On Monday the 4th, we'll probably be meeting up with the British High Commission, maybe the Minister of Agriculture, maybe whoever else. Maybe we'll go to museums. On Tuesday the 5th, we're planning to go to Maypen, meet with the mayor, council members, if that's convenient for them. If not, we'll change around and maybe go to the school in the afternoon. and then maybe after school we'll do this Eisteddfod event. And then on the Wednesday, we'll either continue our visits on to cultural places in Kingston, or people can do their own thing, or we may go back to look at other plantations, but definitely on the Thursday, we'll go back to look at more plantations. And then Thursday evening, we've been invited to meet with Maypen Rotary Club and have a meal with them. That'll be 6 o'clock before their meeting. So that would be good. That'd be the Versailles Hotel. And then Friday, we'll do some wrap-up events in Kingston. Saturday, it's back on the coach, the Knutsford Express, up to Montego Bay to get the flight. So you'll be back in the UK on the 10th, if that suits you. If you want to stay longer, then tell us, and then we'll arrange the flights accordingly. But you have to pay your way if it's outside of those 7 nights. Well, 8 nights with the hotel. Okay then. All right, all the best then. Any other questions? Anything else? Ivor? Beth?
Yes, Liz. Yes, do you see me 9? Yes. Oh, you leave me 9.
Thank you, Liz.
Till the night. Okay, lovely.
Yeah, thank you, Liz. Thank you, Garrick. Thank you, everybody who's been involved for all of the hard work, you know, that you put in. I think it's a bit of a miracle that this is happening. I can't quite believe it. But I'll email you, Liz. Thank you very much.
Okay, it is a bit of a miracle. It is a bit of a miracle, so I quite agree. Okay then.
Yes, but miracles always take hard work and over a duration of time and commitment and energy. So I'm very grateful and thank you very much to everybody involved.
All right, well,
I'll email you
to join us, and I do apologise I was late sending that. Robert?
Yes, just to say goodbye. I'm off now.
Okay. Well, all very well, very good, Robert. I'm really glad you joined us. That's excellent. Lovely.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Yes, nice to meet you, everybody. Goodbye from Beth.
All right, bye.
Bye. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Barrington, anything else you want to query at the moment?
Okay, I could stay on and speak with you, Liz. Thank you.
You'll stay on with me then. Right, okay.
Yes.
So, anything else, Gilbert? You've got your instructions as to what to do, Gilbert. You're on mute again, Gilbert. You're still on mute, Gilbert. You're still on mute. I tell you what, Gilbert, phone me later on and we can have a good talk, all right? Will you phone me later? Okay, thanks a lot then. Thank you. Bye then, Gilbert. Bye. And bye then, Michelle. I'll talk to you whenever you want to. All right, just phone me.
Very much, Liz.
Thanks very much, June Elizabeth. Then I'll see you again shortly. I'm glad you got home safe. That's lovely. Thanks very much indeed. Thank you. Bye-bye then, June Elizabeth.
Okay, good night, everybody. One love. Bye.
Right, Barrington, Simon isn't there. He just sets the recording up for us, so it's just you and me.
Okay, thanks, Liz. Thank you, thank you. You must be relieved. This is your jubilee.
Queen Elizabeth here, you know.
Time to celebrate. Yes, yes, yes. I remember the early days where many persons thought that this was just talk and talk and talk and talk. But there are a few of us who believed in the vision, and though it was an uphill task, we were able to stick with it, more so you than anyone else. I think you were graced for this and you were purposed for this. I can only see in the future how the citizens of Pennant and Jamaica, in terms of the schools, this thing will blossom in a way that it will become a look forward to fixture when it comes around to culture, days, and just to identify the fact that we can connect with another territory that have similarities. I'm also seeing too that graduates of these particular high schools that will be a part of the Bridge of Friendship may just find their future in Wales and are able to become ambassadors eventually because they were exposed to this kind of bridge and friendship. So I'm seeing it far and wide because Jamaicans, they are very adventurous and they leave our shores every time they leave our schools and they find themselves in all sorts of places. So they will be singing the song of Liz. They will be singing the song of building bridges of friendship because they were exposed to it at high school. So I'm seeing the potential for that kind of cascading across.
I think the potential is absolutely enormous. I think it's unimaginable what could happen. And there are several reasons behind this. You say that Jamaicans are adventurous. Well, Welsh people are no longer adventurous. Welsh people were the adventurers of the past. They were, getting a ship and going off and joining the Spanish Armada, and they were doing this and doing that and out, which is why they are so obviously related to empire building, and the names of Welsh people are so much embedded into communities around the world, including Jamaica. So it's really interesting that we've got that comparison. And this is a very brave project of the Welsh government because it's a huge amount of money they've invested in this project to try and get Welsh people to look outwards, look at other places.
Yes.
If I feel a responsibility, but also an opportunity that in all the years that I worked in Jamaica, trying to promote links through the British Council, and honestly, I think I organised about 50 visits over the years because we had some HE links as well through some branch of the British Council, and we'd always have people, coming and going, and I would say to Jamaican colleagues, don't rely on the British Council. You can't. I think the word I used was probably trust them. You can't.
Yes.
Did pull out in the end, you see. And I think it would be great if Jamaica could, in your schools, there could be a confidence that you could approach other countries, not necessarily for physical exchanges, but now we Zoom, we can.
Yes. This is a way of the world now. We are connecting every day using the technology, and it's almost real life experiences.
Well, it is. I mean, I feel as if I know you, and I've never met you.
Yes, that's right.
Seen you or hearing. And
Yes,
it's such good technology now. You can actually
it is. It is.
real, and then I don't know how it works, but it does. So Barrington, an organisation I linked with many years ago, I wanted to tell you about, was called Odyssey. I'll just try and see if I can find them now, because they have an online method, Odyssey. No, I can't spell it right. ODDE Odyssey International links. So they're the way that you could send I just can't find the right one at the moment, so I won't faff around.
Okay.
So they had a way that you could send postcards between classes and all kinds of interesting things they were doing, as well as providing
Okay.
about it. And we had a great training day, and they came along, and we had lots of Birmingham head teachers because we were really into all of these exchanges with Birmingham. Whereas now I'm in Wales, it's had to start all over again, really. But anyway, this opportunity isn't available for people in England. I hear people saying, I went back to England. I've never heard that. So it's really, really funny. So yes, it's been hard going, but I mean I've had so many wonderful times and opportunities with the people who've worked with me. So let's carry on that front. So yeah, it's a bit late now. I've sent a message to the 3 schools, you know, that we were trying to link with 3 of your schools, get them woken up. And I know it's so hard when the term starts, and I appreciate the fact that you've given time at a very busy time of your year to be pushing this forward. But once we get your visit sorted, then it'll become real. You know, it won't be some myth in the air anymore. It'll be real. And we'll have our flights booked by the time you come over, so that'll be real, and we'll be planning what we're able to do with you there. But the tithe funding, it was quite disturbing in this meeting to, you know, hear they're so, you know, fixed in what they're able and
Yeah.
allowed to do. And this business about when he said the 20%, I nearly fell over because there's no way we can possibly operate like that. It'll have to be something like, oh, I don't know how we do it, because they won't give you the money unless you've done the activities. So anyway, we'll get through it somehow. I'm determined.
Yes. Yes.
Not afraid to go to the top and sort it from the top down. So the next thing is to make sure that we get a bridge with the Lord Lieutenant of Gwynedd and Edith Chin, that we get you, and I've got a meeting now set up into the end of the month with Gwern from the Director of Education in Gwynedd. But just to tell you, while we're just on our own alone to talk, the reasons that we had so much problems with the last Director of Education and why he eventually had to leave was that it wasn't anything that he'd done, from what I can gather, but it was the way he'd handled a really, really, truly, awfully difficult situation that
Okay.
was by the behaviour of one of the secondary school head teachers here in Bangor, who's now gone through the court and been sentenced for child abuse. It was
Wow.
such an awful, awful shock, because this person was the principal, and I'll tell you the school, it's called Friars, because I don't know whether you will be invited to go to Friars, but it is the leading secondary school in the city, in the county.
Okay.
To be caught out behaving so inappropriately has absolutely shocked the community here, rigid.
Mm.
And as a result, the Director of Education decided to move on. So that was why we had so much trouble last year, is that they couldn't possibly concentrate on anything else while they were having to deal with all those issues. So
Yes.
most unfortunate, but you know, now it's all out in the open. It's all people know. So now we can move forward, and some of the things that you're talking about will be of real interest to the teachers. So we also yesterday discovered that this guy at the with our Bangor restaurant. He can cook Antiguan food, so I'm sure he can be trained to cook Jamaican food. So we'll actually have a Jamaican chef locally. We've got one guy in Holyhead, but he doesn't always manage to make it to things. So
Okay, awesome.
we have some good places, so you needn't think you're going to starve to death over here. We will have some Jamaican stuff as well. So yeah, so it'll be really good, and it'll be a bit. I'm just. It's really difficult. The subjects we're talking about, this shared history is not easy, and I want
Yes.
Jackie to have the opportunity to speak, because she really felt it when we went round the castle. She really felt it. And I felt, it's because of her name. She said to me, and she didn't say it in the session now, but she said, my name is like a branding that I have. It's like a
Wow.
branding.
Wow.
Oh, gosh. But then so quickly that this delightful couple called Philida and Johnny Lloyd, their brother and sister, have come forward with this cash, and it's cash on the table, and the people in Pennant can talk with Eureka and sort out what they want, and wonderful Mr. Williams can find out what he wants to do, because he's got the biggest share. I didn't show you the email, but I can show it you now. I think I've got it here somewhere. Let me just see. I
Yes.
put it up and then I changed my mind. Sorry, let me just find the email, the invoice. Yes, this will be useful for you to have seen, and I do appreciate your time. It's so kind of you to give time, because I need to be able to talk to people about all this stuff. It's so complicated. So this is about Johnny and Philida's. I think I probably possibly sent you this in an email.
Yes, you did. Yes, yes.
As you can see, we've allocated the royal we, me and Coy and the others on the Pennant Project session, we decided to go for the most funding going to the primary school. So when Mr. Williams sent us the quote for the work on the roof, it's much less, it's quite a bit less than that. In British pounds, I think it's about 7,000 or 8,000. So he's got a little bit to play with there. But remember, when I get a chance, I'll get on to the Douglas Pennant Family Foundation, and their amount of funding was about 32,000. So it's a lot less.
Okay.
They
Yes.
spend on the same things. So the community centre will get another chunk of funding in British pounds. I think it's about 6,000. The heritage work might be done with this amount of money. We don't know. Then the instruments for the community band, there won't be a need for any more instruments. I think they'll have enough by the time they've spent £3,800 on them. And then the basic school, I'm sure there's more that we can allocate to them, but in that funding will be allocated about 7,000. Then then the John Austin Primary School will have an allocation in that as well of about, I think it's about 8,000 off the top of my head. And and so really the priority expenditure is for the community centre, the basic school and the primary school. So when we get the Pennant's money and we review what to spend it on, we'll involve you in that discussion, because
Okay.
and there is just one other thing that I'd like to do, and that is I'd like to see if we can get a library re-established in Pennant. This is me off the top of my head, okay. A library stroke heritage centre. So out of that next lot of funding, and Mr. Williams has got some brilliant ideas about having I think it's 2 or 3 or 4 containers situated on the corner of the land of the school.
Okay, yes, yes. So we are in the process to demolish the old structure,
Yeah,
to the old cottage, so
yeah,
that they can roll out their plans. So we are going to honor that for
that's
them.
wonderful. That will be wonderful, because apparently you can't build on that land, because even if we wanted to build an infant department, we couldn't build it because the land, they can't find the ownership documentation that because its land is owned by the
The
Baptist.
church, right, it's owned by the church, and they are doing the search. So we await the outcome of that investigation, so
Well,
you can have evidence. But we are also doing some work on our end as well,
good,
because we are in partnership with the church.
good, good. So it would be great if a library could be created, Heritage Centre could be created there, because it could be open to the public from one side and shut off to the school, but then it could be shut off to the public and open to the school from inside.
Oh, well, it's a good idea, but that land we were also earmarking it for the infant department for John Austin. But it's something that we could discuss jointly with the church as well,
Yes.
because we were looking at the longevity of the school given the community. We don't
Well,
want it to be a dying school.
no, what I
Um,
do want
but it
that
could be shared. It's a lot of land as well. It's a lot of land.
it is a lot of land. I think there's room for probably everything that's needed, but
That's right.
but
Yes.
that idea of the heritage centre, because then it would become a focal, become a tourist attraction for the community. They could have some little cafes and things, and because there's that big fast road really near Pennant now.
That's right. Yes.
It's optimum for sharing this heritage, and there isn't you go to great houses and hear about the history, but the work that Leslie's done, I tell you, is absolutely groundbreaking. Again, I might be able to find a PowerPoint. Oh no, I was looking for that. Sorry.
Right. Liz, you saw my WhatsApp?
WhatsApp, just a minute.
I think I sent it this morning just for clarification, because I'm doing my own preparation this side and I want to be guided by you.
Right. As soon as you get your visa, that's the important.
Yes, right.
Can you say how the subsistence will be provided so I know what additional funds to take from my end? I also am okay staying with the family you mentioned. This will allow me to have an authentic experience. Okay, well, I haven't quite sorted that out. We've got one couple who've offered accommodation, but I'm not sure how comfortable you'd feel with that. And I'll be quite honest and open about that. Because they are these two South African guys who've just moved into Bangor. The one works at the university as the student chaplain, and Brendan Burmister, who's been our saving grace, is his partner. So they've offered accommodation, but it may well be that we can find a Welsh-speaking Welsh family.
Yes,
And perhaps ask the schools, the head teachers, so you'd be more involved in an educational setting family.
yes,
um,
yes.
might make you feel a bit more comfortable. So we'll see how that goes. Now the subsistence, I'd need to look it up, I'm afraid, on one of my charts. Final schedule, mobility. Right, the grant calculator. Right, I'm just going to share the screen with you, Barrington. Right, so this is the grant calculator
Okay.
for the adults, right? So it tells us exactly how much we've got altogether to spend on the adult version. And I really do hope that some schools will take it up and apply, because there's only two definite more opportunities. We'll apply again. and that's about producing the educational materials that will back all this up, because you have to have an outcome of the pathway to the October application. And then there's one more in March, I think, the next one. Anyway, right, okay then. So you come in this category here, number of inward mobility, they call it. So you're one of the 8. Bear in mind we've got 29 coming out to you. It's ridiculous. So we've got the budget top up, which is this much to support everybody. And we've got this is called organisational support. So if there's anything over the top, we can spend that, but that needs to be divided by 8, whatever that comes to. Right, okay, so this is the next bit. I'm going to show you it as if it's the people coming to Jamaica, but it's the same applies to you coming.
Okay.
All right, so 22 learner participants. Remember, we're all adult learners on this project, right?
Right.
5 of us are the accompanying persons, because Ty hasn't worked out that grown-ups don't need accompanying persons to accompany them. So anyway, 27 of us all together. But we have to categorize ourselves as, so, you know, each time there's a delegation, somebody will be the delegation lead and they'll be the accompanying person. So we'll work that out. Now, the number of days, they gave us 8. And we've asked if a night at Birmingham, because the flight's very early in the morning. So as the night at the hotel in Birmingham will be covered under that 8 days going to Jamaica. We're given Jamaica's given group 2 status. It's not the most expensive. And yet I would argue it's as expensive as anywhere in the world. So I had a go at them about that.
Yes.
Right, so per participant subsistence rate, okay, £520. Per accompanying person subsistence rate, £600. Why do they think that an adult who's the team leader should be given £80 more to spend on subsistence? I have no idea. So this is the learner subsistence rate. Accompanying persons, adding it all up together. Travel grant participants. So I think this is the figure that we're looking for, 520. Now, subsistence,
Okay.
yeah, accommodation costs. So if we go for a family, that's your preference, but we'll probably ask the family, or we'll create for the family an invoice to cover your accommodation costs. It's nothing to do with you, it's just so that we can account for the money. And then we'll allocate the money for you for your subsistence. So as you can see, it's certainly not brilliant for, you know, how can you possibly stay in Kingston for 7 nighs, or Montego Bay, Kingston for 7 nights for 520? Well, you can't. So then we have to take it out of this other funding, which is here, so that you know what we're up to. It's called organisational support. So there's a lot of funding here, 11,800 for organisational support, but that's to pay for everything else that we have to pay for. So we're going to have to pay some of this. Will have to go towards meals and accommodation and extra cost of the flights and da 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 da. So it's not for our organisation to, you know, have money in the bank. It's that it's there to be spent on it. And obviously, with less people coming in, then there's less organisational support. So we'll divide that up and we'll see what seems fair. But I think, and I hope that you'll feel comfortable that you can trust us to be honourable and to do our best.
I have no doubt, Liz. I just wanted to have an idea so I can start buying the pounds that I need to supplement my trip. So I just wanted to have an idea if I need to take X amount to manage myself, along with what you
Yeah.
did indicate. So I just wanted to kind of feel myself so I can be prepared.
Okay, so that funding we'd make that available to you when you arrive with us.
Yes,
That's all right.
that's fine. That's okay.
520,
It's
okay.
okay.
Okay, so we've got to what I've said, Garrick and I have been in deep discussion over to say. We've decided that the first visit we make to you, and in a way your first visit to us,
Yes.
we'll just do it. Whatever it costs, we'll just do it. And then we'll
Okay.
worry about what to do afterwards. So
Yes,
it's all we can do really. So
yes, yes. All right, all right, all right.
we need to
So
be
in the next 3 weeks or less, I should pick up the passport.
yeah,
Right. So I will let you know as soon as I collect it,
yeah.
and then we can take things from there. But I've begun doing my packaging, my presentations, collecting the artifacts that will be used as a part of the engagement, so I can, make it very impactful.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, it'll just be exciting really. What I was going to say was that we're planning to come back really quite quickly. We're planning to fly on the 29th. So we'll stay over in Mo Bay for a night, and then we'll come right down to and stay in Pen with you there. So we want to be able to stay at the Versailles. Could you get a quote for us for how much per person per night, and maybe that'll be the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
That's in September?
No, October.
No, October, sorry. October.
October the 30th, the 30th
Okay.
and the
To the
1st.
2nd of November or to the 1st.
Well, actually, we'll
All right.
have to stay till the Saturday the 2nd, and
The
then
2nd.
bus back up. I know it seems a bit much, but we'll catch the bus back up to greet the arrivals in Montego,
Okay.
so that we're looking after
Do
them.
you know how many persons, Liz, so I can get a quote around that?
I think if you get a quote for 3 initially, then we'll work on that. And then what Leslie wants to do is she wants to go to Spanish Town Archives on the Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. I think she's booked in on the Thursday and Friday there. And she wants to just get her head down and get through the archives
Okay.
there of the enslaved workers. She's got 1,200 names already, Barrington. It's
Wow.
incredible what she's doing. And she's able to follow people through from one recording period to the next recording period of doing a different job, and then maybe, and people in their 80s. Really, really fascinating. I can't hear you very well. The line's gone strange. Oops. I can't hear you, Barrington. I don't know what's happening. I can't hear you. So, yeah, okay.
Liz?
Yeah, that's better. Thank you. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it is just amazing. And so we want opportunities where I'll just send you this. Just share the screen a minute with you. We had this Black History Conversations, and we had this lady called Celia Naylor, and she's researched the records at Rose Hall, and she's written a book called Unsilencing Slavery, and she's also got a website, a really good website as well. So she was the sort of inspiration behind the fact that, you know, you could find people, and we've been discussing it with Vivian Crawford. So he's been out of action for a good couple of months now after his son died so sadly in London, and the funeral sometime this month in Jamaica. So we were looking at these records that the university put online that list all the
Okay.
people. And so we decided that we'd try and memorialize some of these names. Or what Leslie has done over the summer holiday time. She started at the end of July, and she's literally been going in morning and afternoon most days of the week and copying down all these names. So and then matching them how they move. So, you know, so she'll be able to tell a story, say of Caesar, and tell the story of his life, and what different work he did, and what he was then tasked to do, and then what happened at the end of his life. Because the detail of the records, it's really upsetting going through the archives, because they recorded so much stuff. Interestingly, we aren't finding in the Pennant's records any overt examples of violence to the enslaved workers, but it must have been there. But it's not like sort of the Thomas Littlewood diaries or whatever. It's not awful and horrible like that. So it's quite interesting, because for such a great period of time there were absentee landlords just sending information back and receiving information about you know, purchasing more provisions or arguing about this, and they've actually found the link with this. She's found the link with the slates, that Lord Penrhyn was supplying slates for the Denby plantation for the roofs of the buildings there. So we need to get on to the people there and begin to identify. So I've asked, don't know if you know anybody, but I've asked Skian Barneswell, Councillor Skian Barneswell. I know him quite well and he's quite helpful. I've asked him to find the best historians in Clarendon for us, and he's not come back.
Yes.
So I don't know if you know anybody who's particularly interested in this history, because
There is a lady that I know was doing a book
yes,
on Clarendon.
what happened to that? Because I kind of lost touch.
Yes, I need to check my email. I might have a contact for her,
Right.
but she was very advanced in publishing the book.
Yes.
So she would have the history.
Yeah.
So I could reach out to see if can connect with her and
Because
put her on to you.
she sent me a draft of what I'd talked to her about on the phone, and I corrected it and sent it back, but I've never ever heard from her, and I can't find, you know, sometimes emails just disappear off the face of the earth. Just disappeared. So I'm just hoping that she hasn't got a lot of inaccuracies in that book, but anyway, we'll see. But it would be good for her to know that we've done so much more, because what we want, what our thoughts are now, is that this memorialization, however it is, will be a part of a heritage and making a, you know, a place for visitors to go to respect and remember the incredible history of this particular area, because the resonance with Wales is the strike, Robert Rumble's strike. You know that story, do you?
Okay.
Do you know it? The story of
No, I don't.
Oh, well, the tenants in Pennant, tenants with a T in Pennant, went on strike in 1938, and Robert Rumble was the leader of this group of named people. They joined an association and they campaigned with the then Jamaica, and they caused the plantations to be sold by 1940 in 2 years. The story is just incredible and it is so important. Portia Simpson Miller recognized in a speech, Robert. So just amazing. You're going strange again. So let's give up now.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes, yeah.
yeah,
It seems as if it's going on.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Liz, I'm with you, and I heard you. It was a little delayed, but it's something that we probably need to explore. I'm
Well,
going to try and source her contact information
thank you.
so we can reconnect.
Yeah. And your children in school, they need to understand the story of Robert Rumble and the tenants who went on.
Yeah, yes,
He ended up in prison.
yes, yeah. It was interesting when I went up and saw, the evidence and the community persons, the more senior persons had their own version of the story. Mr.
Oh,
Baker across the road was sharing with us.
oh, what did
Um, no, he said he remember hearing the story and how, he was so passionate about the people in the community that to the point he was willing to risk his own life
yeah?
for the people.
It's truly a remarkable story, and we've tried to follow it up over the time. Oh, here's a nice last sharing of screen. I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not. This was the slide I did about the going into the archives, and there's all these really old documents. They've got documents going back to the 1600s. It's unbelievable. And
Wow.
these
Wow,
documents
look at that.
all about an argument about, and this is dated, you see, 1939, and this is I think this is the sale, no, one of the first sale documents. There's several of them, and Percy Junior, the Percy Junior Hospital. Percy Junior was the person who bought them and then sold them to the British government, and I can't. I'm really struggling to find the evidence behind it, but it's just fascinating. Okay, it's going strange again, so I better say bye-bye. Bye-bye for now then.
Okay, Liz, bye.
Again, all right. Bye-bye
It
then.
seems to be
Bye-bye.
going in
Yeah.
and out. Yes, yes. Okay then.